I've spent so much of my life waiting for those blue lines. Oh, now I'm live? Look at that. Oh, no, not this again. Well, we're kind of live, but we have a lost signal, so, oops.
Definitely seated on that one.
Number 4?
Here we go. You got us.
We have a screen. Okay. I don't know why it's not on the up top.
Yep, that's fine.
Oh, and we're up top. Good morning. I'm talking to nobody in the audience. Like, this is only useful for the people live, I guess. I'm talking to you, but you're not audience.
No one likes me.
Come on, we need some audience.
Can you hear me?
Okay, one audience.
Hey, can we turn the volume down on this thing?
Oh,
Feedback.
why is this?
Feedback.
Hold on. Are you here for the show, or are you just here for the free chair? Oh, you're next. That's the only way we've been building audience this week is like, oh, I'm next. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
vBrownbag at VMworld 2013. This is Ed. Mr. Ed is going to talk about whatever is on that wonderful slide about cloud security.
Secure hybrid cloud.
Secure hybrid cloud this week. Okay,
yeah.
And go for it.
Thank you. Well, I got 10 minutes to give you a rundown on what the secure hybrid cloud is. Enunciate. I need to project. Okay. First off, the entry point to the cloud is not your server. It is not the cloud. It is your end user computing device, the mobile device that everybody has in their hands tweeting right now. When you get there, you have to actually do some interesting things. You have to prove your identity. You need to get some authorization and authentication. Those are those areas there, right here. Then I have some gateways and APIs I may be going through to get to either my data center or into my cloud environment. Or my end user computing environment could actually go in directly to a cloud environment. I could be going to a SaaS application like Salesforce, Dropbox, and so forth. I could be going to my PaaS cloud to do some development. Or I could be going to infrastructure as a service to access my application. All of that could be in the cloud, which is over on the right-hand side of the diagram. Or I could be accessing something in the storage cloud. I may be doing a box.net, I may be doing anything. Take your pick. The other part of this is this transitional phase. When I go from an end user computing and I deal with identity and gateways and APIs to go and talk to everything, those are what I call a transition. I'm transitioning between one device in a location and something that could be in the cloud or it could be on my data center. In my data center. Data protection is one of these transitional pieces because right now, data protection is a lot about moving data from my data center and moving it up into the cloud. Now on-prem, I have all my standard things. I have a network fabric, my hardware edge, my multi-tenant storage, some logging, some analytics, and everything related to that, and my management as well as my workloads. And in here I call those tenants. But when I'm in the cloud, I don't have access to all that. And what you end up having to deal with when a secure hybrid cloud is you actually need to worry about who has access to what, where my data is, and everything of that nature. But so how do you get your data out? How do you know where it is? Well, those are where those gateways and APIs come in. Through the APIs, I know where I'm going, and because of that, I can know where my data has been. But in order to get all that information, I have to do some level of logging at every level. I may be able to do some in Salesforce, some in Dropbox. I may be able to do more in box.net. So my SaaS apps have logging capability. And when I deal with my PaaS clouds, I may end up adding more logging in because I'm developing the application. I can put more in there. And when I develop the application, I can actually add in some endpoint security as well. My infrastructure as a service clouds, I may be able to do some level of logging as well, but I can only log from where I have control, nothing below that control. So again, it's kind of this hidden feature. I may want to get everything below that, but that requires SLAs and the cloud service provider to grant that to you, which is a very difficult task. But I have the ability to put endpoint security in there. I have some proxies I may want to add, or a load balancer. I can actually automate all that, and I have maybe an edge firewall that I can control. Now, every cloud is different, but those are things that I need to worry about. In my storage clouds, I may get some logging of who actually put data where. I may get some access information. You need to worry about all that. So I take all that logging data through an API and a gateway, of which has its own logging and endpoint security, and I have my identity, and I'm pulling all that information in, grabbing it from my identity store, throwing it into my logging so I can actually figure out who did what, when, where, and how. But that's could be terabytes per second or per minute of data. Now I've got to figure out, am I compliant with some regulatory compliance, or am I compliant with my security policy? That's going to take a fair amount of analytics. So analytics comes as a part of this. And when you do the analytics is going to get you information about problem determination, but it's also going to give you a huge amount of data about security. And it's going to give you the ability to go through and say, hey, I'm compliant or not against whatever the policy is, regulatory compliance, and so forth. But I also have a parallel version of almost all of this stuff in my data center as well. By the way, that data center could be in a hosted facility. It could be yet another cloud that I completely and utterly control, which means I may have access to the network fabric. I definitely have hardware edges. I have some form of storage. I have some management components that I need to absolutely secure separately than all the other workloads running on my environment. The definition of tenant in this particular case is not necessarily by different companies. It could be by different organizations in a company. It could be by trust zone. It could be just by workload. It could be by who's using that, which people are using that workload. Tenant has a lot of definitions. So when I say multi-tenant, I'm dealing with the ability to say, hey, all this stuff all funnels down into these various security procedures. So when you're looking at the cloud, in the secure hybrid cloud, the entry point is your end user computing device, whatever it is, and you can go anywhere. And when I go anywhere, I have to be able to log what's happening. And then I got to do some analytics on it. Now, granted, I put the analytics in my data center, but because I want control, but you can also put those analytics things up into the cloud as a software solution, such as Splunk and so forth. They can be anywhere. So when you're talking about getting and securing the hybrid cloud, the first thing you need to know is, where am I going? Once I know where the user is going, I need to know where my data is moving. If I know where both of those are going, I have a pretty good handle on what's happening in the cloud. Thank you very much. This is the Secure Hybrid Cloud in brief, and you can find it on the www.virtualizationpractice.com. Thank you.